Welcome to the show, everybody. It's a noon show today, which is weird because I'm drinking coffee and it's not to not fall asleep; it's to wake up. That's kind of a weird way to say it. What's up, Jonald? How's it going?
Hey, Collin. How you doing?
Doing great. All right. So first things first. How do you pronounce your name?
Jonald.
Jonald Fyookball.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
You got it. You nailed it.
Nailed it. So yeah, what's up? My internet might be kind of shoddy today. If it is, don't worry. I am recording this, which I will actually. I forgot to start, so thanks for reminding myself. But it looks like our internet's being all right. So, but anyways, let's back up a little bit. Jonald, when did you first get into Bitcoin?
Oh man, when did I first get into Bitcoin? I think 2000 and I think I first heard about it in 2012, and then I think I bought my first Bitcoins in 2013. So a little bit, a couple years, right?
Yeah. So what was your involvement? Like, when did you get involved in the developer side of it?
So yeah, I mean, I wasn't really involved in Bitcoin um, early on that much. I was like, I was a regular on the Bitcoin Talk forum, and I would just be like, I was just like anyone else on the forum. But then when the whole scaling debate happened, I sort of got, I guess, more involved. Um, I was just like, what in the world is going on with all this stuff? And so that's kind of what led me into like Bitcoin Cash was I was like very opposed to this small block direction that Bitcoin was going. So yeah, I just like happened to be at the right place at the right time as far as Bitcoin Cash, and I had gone from the forum over to Reddit, and then someone invited me into a Slack group, and then long story short, I ended up talking with Omri Sachet, and like I said, was just kind of at the right place at the right time. It kind of helped things get going. Like there was this fork, coming down the pipe, and I sort of said, "Hey, like, where's the wallet?" Like, so is anyone forking Electrum for this? And no one really was like stepping up to do that. So I was like, all right, well, I'll do that. And I had some help. There was other people were kind of helping me with that, like Neil Booth and other people. But he didn't want to maintain it, so I said, okay, I'll maintain it. I'll head up this project or whatever. So
Gotcha.
I guess the rest is history.
Yeah, you're still doing it, which is awesome. And
Yeah.
it's probably surpassed like Electrum in features. Aren't they like trying to do like lightning stuff now or something?
Yeah, I heard about that they're trying to they're trying to put Lightning in the Electrum wallet. So to me, I'm like I'm a hater when when it comes to Lightning, just because, and I've written a bunch of articles about this. I just don't think it ever works with the liquidity constraints. It always centralizes. So I didn't, because I was trying to work out the napkin math. Like, how do you, the whole idea was, oh, well, I'm going to pay Sally to pay Bob to pay Burger King to pay my coffee.
Yeah.
And I tried to work out like how that actually works on back of the napkin math. How do you actually get your money out? And in trying to figure out how it works, I kind of proved that it didn't work. So I wrote an article about that, like how it's just mathematically like destined to centralize.
Yeah.
So I don't really enjoy what they're doing with Lightning necessarily, but more power to them. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
But Electron Cash has been really good. Like we've had a lot of great volunteer efforts. Really, Collin's been the main force with. He's has like hundreds or thousands, probably hundreds of commits that he's done, and so the wallet is it's in good shape. And then we've got all these cool things like cash accounts, and of course the privacy stuff, and SLP.
Yeah, I mean,
So yeah,
we're gonna kind of segue right into that. Yeah, actually, before we go into that, we actually met in San Francisco. So, Jonald is a real person. He's not just a Family Guy character. So, I can confirm he's real, and I've seen him in the flesh. So, for anybody wondering, he does get out sometimes, but with the coronavirus, we might not see each other for a while. So, we might just meet digitally from now on for the next foreseeable future. So, yeah, how was San Fran? That was the BCH Dev
The
thing.
DevCon.
Yeah, DevCon that was put on by I forget the company, but it was like a Bitmain subsidiary or something. But yeah, how was that?
Yeah, that was cool. I didn't really accomplish too much, but it was great to see everyone. There were some really cool projects. The Yenim team was cool. They were there. I think they won actually,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know that seem like they've kind of dropped off the map a bit.
Yeah,
but there was some cool stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, definitely some cool stuff. Yeah, that was in the bull market when people wanted to spend money on things and not just.
That was right before the BSV split too.
Yeah, that was. It was.
I remember. Yeah.
A couple months before. Yeah, that was. And after that, it's just like there's the only other conference has been the one in Australia. So
That was awesome. Yeah, you were there too.
Oh yeah, I met you. Yeah, you were there too. Yeah, yep. That was great. So, Electron Cash is the best BCH wallet, hands down. Yes, I would agree. Thanks again to Jonald, Collin, all the others too. It's been a great fork for us at Devault too. Not sure what Devault is. That was from chat. But yeah, so I guess I didn't realize that you actually wrote until I read an article an hour ago that you were the author of the SLP specification. Like you were the first one to come up with SLP.
Yeah, so it was. There was a lot of talk about tokens and colored coins and stuff, and there was before the BSV split, CoinGeek had put out this 5,000 British pound bounty. And I think everyone was assuming that someone else would do it. That's where I was. I was thinking, well, there's got to be all these teams competing for this awesome prize money. and then we had this op group proposal from Andrew Stone, and that didn't seem to be accepted. And so it got to a point where I kind of was fed up a bit, and I said, well, this is we'll never get tokens at this rate. I'm just going to create something. And then I was talking with James Kramer, and he, I told him, I'm just going to do tokens. He's like, yeah, can I help? I'm like, sure. And then we had pulled in Mark Lunderberg and some other people. So it wasn't really me doing it, but there was, I guess I was pushing other people to kind of, to do it. But I was thinking about how we can do tokens that are not miner validated, and it's kind of a challenge because you have this DAG or this kind of chain of metadata. And so I basically figured out that there's no real good way to do it. You can't do some kind of fancy commitment scheme because you could there could be a break in the chain in the DAG anywhere. So you kind of have to just check everything. So then the security model for SLP just kind of became your wallet will just check back as far as it needs to. And maybe we'll have some servers. At the time, there was this developer, Unwriter, who I guess now is with BSV, but it was he or she was making some kind of BitDB thing that could supplement. So I said, hey, why don't we just do this simple way to validate, and we can combine it with BitDB on the back end if we need to. So that was kind of the idea.
So so SLP was actually an original thing. Well, it was a contest, I guess a bounty from CoinGeek. I didn't realize that either.
Well, but we never really entered it. It was just I just decided let's just make it open source. Yeah, but there was so we never really entered the contest or anything like that.
So you never got your prize money.
It was just the right way to do tokens. And there's been other colored coin things in the past. So, but they seemed like a little bit roundabout or not simple enough. So, it was all about trying to make something simple that just made sense.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so now we have like all these crazy tokens. So it's good.
What's your favorite tokens?
My favorite tokens. Well, Spice is obviously at the top of the list. Someone's making a sour token, which sounds kind of tasty.
So are we getting any tokens that aren't just meme coins? That's the real question.
Yeah, that is a good question. It's like, how many meme coins can one chain take? You know.
I mean, I guess it proves that like coins can work, but it's just a matter of like bringing the utility coins, for lack of a better word, onto the chain. And
well, there's this Go Crypto thing. I think they're doing some business, right? And then there was that bicycle company, Toba.
Toba was doing stuff. I think they've gone quiet for now, but their token's still around.
Right.
I think they're.
And then there's Drop, which is kind of clever. It's like that's the cryptophile exchange, and you get other tokens if you have the Drop token. So whenever they list like a new token on the exchange, you get some of that. You get a drop, an airdrop.
Yeah.
So we'll see. What happens.
Yeah, because I mean, like SLP itself is I mean, it's very simple as it's just so simple, you know. So yeah, it's just a matter of like waiting for a company to build something that can kind of blow up. Because I know Psy has like a SLP version, but they also have like ERC and Liquid. They have a whole bunch of stuff. And then yeah, like you said, Drop, and then gosh, there's I can't think of. Why can't I not think right now? It's too early. It's noon. Come on, I go to sleep at 3 a.m.
Haven't had your whiskey yet, right?
Yeah, I know, right? Jesus. SLPs. Jesus. Why can't I think of any? Anyways, Honk Token, Spice, BCH. Oh, USDH. That's the one I was thinking of course.
Oh yeah, that one's cool.
I heard a rumor. Roger said that Tether's coming to SLP too. He just like hinted that in one of his. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did hear that. That's I know the Tether people were talking with James Cramer, but I don't know the status of it. I think they might have wanted some kind of like freeze features or something, like something extra. I don't know.
Gotcha.
So we'll see. But that'd be pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it would. Thank you for all the BCH. It's flowing right now. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, Tether is Tether. Well, whether it's backed, who knows? But I mean, that's just. I think that would be more than anything just like an awareness thing for the rest of crypto. Like, hey, look at Bitcoin Cash has tokens, right?
Be like the nail in the coffin for maximalism.
Yeah, exactly. It's no longer just on Liquid. So, but yeah. So yeah, let's talk about Electron Cash here. So I'm gonna pull up my wallet. I'm totally gonna ruin all my OPSEC, but that's okay. Because do I really need it? So here, let's switch here. So it might be kind of small on your screen, sorry, but here's my wallet. I have Cash Fusion running right now. Look at all these fusions going right now. Wow. And so as you can see, I lost a lot of value when the market crashed last couple of days, but hey, whatever. So yeah, right. I do have some questions here. So this is Cash Fusion. I don't know if you can probably kind of see what's going on my screen, so you got an idea what's going on. But on the right here, I have my active fusions going, and on the left, obviously, my wallet. And all of these red ones are actual cash fusions that have happened. And so you have Cash Shuffle and you have Cash Fusion. Cash Shuffle is what you do, what they call fan out, right? And so it creates more UTXOs that are anonymous. But then if you recombine them, you kind of ruin your anonymity a little bit. And then Fusion's supposed to normally go the other way, as far as I understand it, in combined fused UTXOs. But I have a couple fusions that are like, right here, this one's like 4 UTXOs is 16 UTXOs. So I guess my main question here is, with the Cash Shuffle one, there was an option to just spend my shuffled coins, so I don't spend like non-anonymous UTXOs. But with this, there's no such option. Is that something that's gonna? How do I use Cash Fusion and make sure I'm using it anonymously? Is my question, I suppose.
Yeah. So yeah, your first question about whether it's like fanning in or out. So the original idea with Fusion was to create something that would be consolidating, because the problem with Cash Shuffle was that you had all these coins that you couldn't combine them, right, without messing up. Mm-hmm. But then like it just became this multi-purpose tool. So you can do fan in or fan out with Fusion, and you can also have like one person, like Alice could be fanning in while Bob is fanning out, all within the same Fusion round. So it's kind of this like multi-purpose tool now. But then as far as like yeah, with Shuffle, the Send tab kind of tries to make sure that you're spending only a coin that's been shuffled, or coins that have been shuffled. So we haven't really gotten to that point yet with Fusion. It's still, I guess, alpha phase, but we're getting ready to audit it. But yeah, we should add something, maybe not necessarily like on the Send tab or something, but the coin choosing logic should try to use coins that have been fused.
Okay. I don't know if you've been seeing, but I'm getting a lot of BCH. You're quite the magnet for BCH tips. So thank you, everybody. Okay, so yeah, so going from that, so I'm in my coins tab here, and are these? So this says the coin is frozen. Does that mean that it's working on getting fused right now?
Basically, yeah.
Okay. And so
yeah, so it'll freeze it. That's how Shuffle worked too. It's like it freezes the coin so that, I guess number one, that it won't try to put it into another fusion at the same time as the first fusion, and then also so you won't try to spend it while it's, because if you spend it, then it'll mess up the round for you and everyone else. So
right, got you. And so I mean, these are all my coins, so these are all like my UTXOs, and then they actually do all have Cash Fusion labels. And so I guess my question is now, so could I use this UTXO? It's 0.4 BCH. Could I use this and have it be anonymous? Could I use this UTXO and have it be anonymous?
Yeah.
Okay, so, but then it's when I start combining two of them, then it kind of gets, the math kind of gets.
Well, but it's a good question. So, like, it's a sliding scale. The absolute best thing to do is just spend one UTXO. But if you spend multiple UTXOs, it's not that bad. It's not like as bad as Shuffle, where, see, the problem with Shuffle is that you have this like change output that you can figure out the amount and link it back like a strong linkage. So then when you spend it together, it totally screws it up. So you don't have that aspect of it where it totally screws up. It just weakens it like a little bit. Gotcha. And if you but if you go like all the way to that extreme, if you spend like all your coins that were like all outputs from the same fusion, then you're sort of degrading the privacy a little bit. Like if everyone did that at the same time, it would sort of mess up that round.
Gotcha. So
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. So you kind of have to rely on people to do.
Well, you don't really need to rely on anyone. If you that's the good thing about multiple fusion rounds.
Right.
So even if you like spent all your coins and it messed up that round, hopefully that you put your coins through like 7 rounds, and it's still like totally impossible to figure out for sure like where that money came from originally.
Mm-hmm. Got you. And so I actually just noticed this wallet settings. I think it just upgraded the version or something. But there's different fusion modes: normal, consolidate, fan out, and custom. So oh wow,
I think that's gonna change. Yeah. I think like it's not really. Yeah, most users don't really need to worry about fanning in or fanning out. I think what we're gonna do is have it just be like there's going to be just two modes: normal and liquidity provider. So the liquidity provider would be like kind of fusing forever, or at least up to a point. And then normal would just be like it would fuse, n number of rounds and then try to consolidate. So maybe like it would try to fuse your coins like 10 times, and then if you have 100 UTXOs, it would then try to consolidate them down to like 20 coins or something like that.
Gotcha. And so Gotcha. So it's going. And so if you want, so there's been a fundraiser for you guys. I'm not sure who started. Doesn't matter. Not really. It's a security audit fund. So you already did a security audit with Shuffle, correct?
Yep. And we're using the same firm, Kudelski. So they did a pretty good job with the cash shuffle audit. And I don't think that audit really found anything major. Same with this one. I don't think they're going to find like a big security flaw, but it's still, it's good to just like double check it, and it's good PR. It's just good best practices.
Yeah. And so
kudos to Bitcoin.com. Thank you guys for supporting that.
Yeah. They're matching every donation. So they've put together like 20,000 themselves, right? But if I look at that correctly. And so you're at 40,000 out of 50,000. I would assume that's going to be completed very soon here, which is amazing. So yeah, very cool. So
yeah.
So I did have somebody, Chris Troutner on Twitter said, looking forward to hear if he has any updates on the fundraiser for Cash Fusion and exactly how the money will be used. I recommended that some of it go towards a JavaScript library to make it easier to add Cash Fusion to wallets and apps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the first 50,000 or so is for the audit itself, and then whatever's left over, I guess, is for ongoing development and maintenance. I think Chris's suggestion to build a JavaScript library is a good idea.
Yeah.
Also, I've been talking to the Bitcoin.com team and to their wallet team, so they want to do Fusion in their wallet too. And I think they want to do it on the back end, which is Java. So Java's not JavaScript, but there could be some overlap there.
Gotcha. Didn't they want to put Shuffle in? And are they kind of like waiting now for Fusion?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. I think Roger asked me, well, what should we do? Should we just go full Fusion? And I said, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go full Fusion.
Yeah, like stepping stones on the way. Like Shuffle was just an extension of CoinJoin, just put together.
They redid their whole wallet. So we were Always Anon had built a Shuffle version of their wallet, and then they ended up redoing their whole wallet anyway, which and their new wallet looks great.
Yeah,
but I don't think they can reuse that old Shuffle code. So
yeah,
might as well. Yeah,
seems to be vastly different. So let's get in. So
have you seen their new wallet?
Yes, I have it. It's pretty amazing. Super fast. Although I'm still partial to Crescent Cash, sue me. So
cool. Well, maybe Crescent Cash will go Fusion as well.
Jesus Christ. All right. Thanks. So yeah, let's get into on Crescent Cash. I do have one thing to say, Pox. If you're watching, you need to put syncing in the background because I opened my wallet and it's syncing and I can't do anything. Besides that, anyways, let's move on to the juice. The IFP, the Infrastructure Funding Plan. So the proposal comes out. It comes out. G-Hang writes it, and you are in support of this. You said in one of your articles that you actually one of the main drivers behind this. So take me back as far as you can. When did a proposal like this first start to enter the discussion, and how did you help push it along to the proposal stage?
Yeah, so we were there was a bunch of us in Vancouver in I think either November or December, but the end of 2019. And I don't know where the idea originally came from, but all the ABC guys were there, and Omri was saying, well, like there's this thing with this Shaw 256 like subsidization, and I thought, oh, that's kind of clever. And and then Murray said, well, if we did this only for like 6 months, like it would still like raise a lot of money. And so at the time, it was kind of like a different, I don't know, it seemed like a different context like than it is now, as far as like, we were still really in the bear market. The price was below 200. There was all this talk about infrastructure, and people were getting sick of Omri and Roger fighting on social media over money. And I thought, hey, this is like kind of a clever idea, and maybe that could happen, right? And I know that the miners historically wanted that, and so I kind of took it upon myself to try to see if this, to try to make this happen. Now, I want to give a caveat though. Like my idea of when I say make it happen, it was always like it was always conditional on the community accepting it. Like it was kind of like let's put this out there and see, and see what happens. It was not. It definitely was not like let's ram this through and make sure it happens at any cost, which is kind of feels like what's happening now. So anyway, I kind of wrote up like a draft with some points, and then like showed it to Zhang Jar, and then he put his own spin on it with the no debate theory. But it was just like it's hard to get people all on the same page. So we kind of like and there was some like mistakes in how it was handled, but anyway, so then he publishes this thing, and there was a lot of confusion, a lot of upset people, and then I was trying to talk to people in the community to see like, oh, maybe there'd be a way we could do it where people wouldn't be upset and wouldn't leave. Like maybe we could have, and people had suggested a lot, like there was a few different people that had suggested, well, like do a whitelist, that way it's not just ABC getting the money, etc. But then we were kind of talking about like, well, maybe we could have like 8 or 9 different projects. And my idea at the time was, okay, let's try to like talk to different key opinion leaders, different people, and try to build support for this. And ABC just like didn't at that point like stop listening to me, and just tried to like do what they wanted to do basically. And so they spent their time kind of negotiating they were trying to get support from Bitcoin.com, and they spent their time negotiating with Bitcoin.com and the miners, and just ended up just like putting it in the code before the code cut off. And then I guess their hope and my hope was that, well, this would be better. Like people would hate this less than the quote unquote Hong Kong corporation. But kind of the opposite happened. As soon as it came out, like the next day, it was like a Reddit post with like 100 people saying, "Oh no, this is terrible." So at that point, I said, "Hey, this is like way too controversial. I'm not like I don't really support this anymore, because it's not like too many good people are going to leave if we push this through." And then talking with other people at that point, I sort of became convinced that it was just a bad idea. And I had written about that in one of the articles about how it really depends. Like, is it good or not, even under the best of conditions? Well, I guess it depends on like how you look at Bitcoin Cash, and is Bitcoin Cash like at the time when I first thought it was a good idea, it seemed like we were really struggling. So was it like, okay, we're just we're not really Bitcoin, we're this 3% minority fork, and we have to do whatever we need to compete. Versus, no, we're really the legitimate continuation of the Bitcoin project, and we can't really go down this path. And I give credit to like people like Emergent Reasons that kind of made me see the light on, as far as like, this is really just injecting government into into Bitcoin, or the way I would put it is, it's just there's always going to be this people arguing, this human conflict, which is basically politics. So you're putting politics into the coin, and it's like you can't just take a coin like Bitcoin Cash and turn it into Dash or Zcash. It's, we talk about fair distribution. So a lot of people are upset because they don't see it as fair distribution, but it's sort of even worse than coins that have like a pre-mine or something, because at least in those cases it was like said at the beginning, and then it's like now you know what to expect. But now with this, it's kind of like, well, let's just vote every 6 months, and it's just like it's just ragtag whatever, right? So so I think it's kind of a bad idea, and I think it weakens just this idea of Bitcoin Cash being like the legitimate continuation of the Bitcoin project, and also weakens it as far as making the claim to like this is the best money the world has ever seen. So like Bitcoin's never really had much. Like I agree with people that say, well, this is better than the Blockstream model. It's the fairest way to do it. Okay, that's true, but it's still not really Bitcoin. It's the model in Bitcoin for developers was kind of the hodler model. So devs would come in early in the project and be early adopters and work hard and make the coin better, and then get rewarded because the coin appreciates. That's kind of been the incentive model for devs, or miners can just pay the devs. But so I got really surprised by ABC as far as like they just seem to have taken the ball and ran with it, even though it was very contentious, and even to the point where there's like this whole new node team now, but they still I don't know, like it's still in the software. So yeah. And that leads into like a whole other discussion about like, okay, you can complain about ABC like saying they didn't do what I wanted, or they're not acting, as the stewards of the project that I thought they would in this so-called lead implementation model. And now it's like people are asking, well, was that really sustainable, or do we need to go back to like multiple node implementations and try that? So yeah, it's a very interesting time, and we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah.
That was a mouthful. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll ask some questions, but first we need to do a high five. So here we go. We gotta request a high five. All right, there we go. There's your high five. Okay. So yeah, the 6 months thing. So Jihang first originally had 6 months in the proposal, and has that kind of been like phased out by ABC? So ABC put in this change, and then Jihang said, hey, actually this probably isn't a good idea, but ABC still seems to have kept it in, and no mention of 6 months anywhere by them.
Right. So this thing about the 6 months was sort of part of what convinced me that it was just a bad idea in general, because that was kind of one of the original talking points was, okay, oh, well, it's only for 6 months. And then the people against it were saying, no, but that's not going to happen in reality. It's going to be, it's just going to, it's never, taxes are never temporary. Right? So, and I wasn't really convinced, but then as soon as I saw like people actually fighting over it and it wasn't even released yet, I said, oh, wait a sec, like this is like exactly what they said, right? So like Zhang thought, well, instead of 6 months, let's just do like a smaller percentage and longer duration. Which, okay, that's fine, but it's just an example of people starting to debate, like the parameters of this, and just it's just going down the road of like now we're always going to be debating and discussing and arguing over how this funding mechanism is going to work. So, yeah. So I guess as far as like the the not activating, like there's these 6-month hard forks anyway, like the code stops working at that time anyway. So yeah. One thing I will say in defense of ABC is like this was never like it wasn't like a plot and a scheme. Like Omri wasn't bugging me to like, hey Jonald, when are you gonna like push this to the miners? So it wasn't really ABC pushing for it. So like I know ABC says, oh well, the miners wanted it, and then other people on the other side are saying, well, but it was really ABC pushing it. Well, it was kind of me pushing it on behalf of ABC, but I kind of did that on my own. So I don't blame anyone except myself for kind of opening this thing. But then once it started, once it was contentious and out there, that's when I think ABC should have canceled it.
So, I mean, they still don't plan on canceling it. So, is a split likely? What do you like? I know it's hard to predict the future.
I don't think a split's likely. I think even if it does, I don't think it's going to get activated. And I think even if it does get activated, I think the pools will all run. They'll either run ABC with it turned off, or they'll just run Bitcoin Cash node. So because it would be unexpected, and there would be chaos, and probably the version without the IFP would win.
Yeah, because
just based on what the miners would do.
Right, because I mean the code will only activate if 66% of the miners signal on BIP9. So you think ABC, when that probably happens, you think they'll just kind of let it go and continue to function as normal?
If it got activated?
Well, if it didn't.
Oh, if it didn't get activated, yeah, I don't know. It's like, I mean, they may try to push it again. Who knows? Hopefully not. But yeah, I think they'll continue either way, trying to. It's hard to really say what Omri's motivations are at this point, because why would you keep it in if there's a low chance anyway of it being activated? Like, I'm not sure what they're trying to accomplish there. So it's hard to say.
Yeah. So the Bitcoin
maybe they just want to keep it. Maybe they just like don't want to lose face by taking it out at this point and just say, "Oh, it was always up to the miners," or something like that.
Yeah, strong commitment, right?
Right.
Commitment. Yeah. Oh Jesus!
Solid game theory.
Fuck out of here, guys. I need to close my Telegram now. Jesus Christ. Stop calling me. Oh my God. Okay. Anyways, thanks for the tips, Coast. I can't take you on a call right now. Okay. So the difference between like pools and miners, right? And so the pools were actually the ones that came up with a proposal, and it seems like from what I've seen, a lot of the actual miners are against it. But from what I saw, the pools are more normalized, I guess, to like kind of putting fees onto miners. God damn it, people. My Telegram is closed. How are people calling me? Oh my God. Alright. How is this happening? My fucking Telegram is closed. Stop calling me. Okay. And sorry.
So yeah, pools versus miners. I mean, that's always kind of been an issue in Bitcoin, right?
Yeah. And so like the pools proposed it, and you think that's just because they're kind of used to tacking fees on for miners, and they didn't think it was like going to be such a big deal that it was?
Well, I mean, like I was saying, it seemed like a good idea at the time. As far as I was actually listening to your last show with Peter Risden. So I don't always agree with Peter, but there was something he said that resonated with me, and he said it's very tempting to do this. So I feel like that was kind of what happened at the time. It was like it was tempting. Maybe it was short-sighted, but it was like, yeah, let's just get this money. BTC is going to pay for it anyway. let's just, it seemed like a good idea at the time, but, before getting the feedback from the community. So, I don't know. I'm a believer in listening to the wisdom of the crowd. So, I'm not always right. So when enough of the community said, "Hey, no, we shouldn't be doing this. We shouldn't be like just paying devs out of this thing," then it's like, oh, okay, well, this makes sense. There's some arguments against this, but at the time, it was just, it seemed like, okay, at least to propose it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I answered the question about the pools, but
yeah, I think so. So yeah, then the Bitcoin Cash node comes up. I mean, it's basically a direct fork of ABC, but without the IFP code in it. What do you think about the Bitcoin Cash node?
I think it's great. I think it's impressive how fast these guys put this together. It was like, like 2 weeks basically since the ABC release, and these guys mobilized really fast and came out with an alternate. So good on them. And I kind of like how it doesn't really add to the split risk. I guess that's kind of a consequence of just the soft fork nature of it. Like you can put in a consensus rule that you have to pay out, but if you don't want to do it, it's just like, you can pay that Coinbase if you want to. So the one, the Bitcoin Cash node will follow ABC, but not vice versa.
Right.
But now I guess the question is like, what's the medium to long term for this? And if we are moving back to a multiple implementation model, then it's great. It's like we have someone to balance out ABC. So we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, so we never really actually in Bitcoin had a proper multiple implementation model. It seems like I know there's BU and ABC, but as far as I understand, no miners really run BU. So yeah, do you see multiple mining nodes in Bitcoin Cash's future? Is it, or do you just hope for it? Can it actually work?
Well, yeah, I think. Well, it's a good question. I mean, either we have the multiple implementations model, or we don't. So if we don't, then it's sort of like the it's the benevolent dictator model. So if people are unhappy with ABC, well, maybe we just need to switch to a new lead implementation. So that's one idea. And then the other one is, well, no, we really need multiple implementations. And there's pros and cons of each. And I wrote an article a few months ago called on Bitcoin governance, I think was the title. And it just kind of talks about some of the trade-offs. So it's like in the multiple implementations model, on the one hand, you don't have one group with all the power, but then what happens if you disagree, right? And maybe there's going to be more risk of stagnation, like you can't agree, so then nothing happens, or it's more likely to lead to a chain split if there's no decider. So this is very much all up in the air as far as like where we're going.
Yeah, breaking new ground for sure. So there's a question in chat. Why do you think no miners run BU?
Why do I think no miners? Well, I don't think BU has really done a great job as far as, I mean, so they, before Bitcoin Cash, there was the emergent consensus model, and that never really took off. And I think there was 3 different days where there was like a ton of nodes crashed. I think it was related to extend or something like that. So I don't think they really had a reputation for being super robust. And then when ABC came out, everyone just ran that for Bitcoin Cash. So they never really got traction and never really got back in the game. I mean, I have a lot of criticism for BU. I'm actually planning to write an article about BU and the different, so a critical article, but the different things that I see there. But yeah, for whatever reason, they never, we never turned into a multiple mining node project.
Yeah. I mean, it could just be ABC has been reliable all this time. So
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been a big fan of ABC and a big supporter of ABC. And until a month ago or whatever, it's like I thought they were doing a great job. So yeah, it's just and it's sad to see that like for all the work they did, like getting Bitcoin Cash off the ground and getting us through the hash war. It's like now you got the IFP drama, and it just it really takes the wind out of my sails as far as like ABC.
yeah, I guess we have somebody that wants you to roast BU. I know you had I mean, in one of your articles it said BU is not an acceptable alternative to ABC. Care to expand on this criticism?
Well, I just So I mean, I'll probably go deeper in this when I publish an article about it. But I mean, if you go back to the beginning, like there was a meeting in November 2017 in London where we all kind of set the roadmap. Craig was there, and there was people from Enchain were there, and people from Electron Cash. Neil was there. I was there. ABC was there. Might have been someone from XT there, but there was no one from BU there. They never bothered to show up. I think Andrew, both Andrews dialed it in. Peter didn't even dial it in. They never really were like on board with collaborating with ABC. Maybe that's partly ABC and Omri's fault, but they never really seemed to be fully on board with Bitcoin Cash. Peter never went to any of the dev meetings in 2018. And so I don't know. It was just they don't really hold that much Bitcoin Cash. They're kind of they hold a lot more BTC. So I haven't really seen them as like being fully supportive of Bitcoin Cash. Same thing with the hash war. Like they put out this, like they didn't support ABC or the Bitcoin Cash roadmap. They made like a client which was BSV compatible. So you could like, I don't know, you could say that, well, they were just trying to play the middle of the road politics and that was a mistake. But I just didn't see the same level of commitment or involvement or collaboration. Now you could also easily say, oh, ABC would have been worse if the shoe was on the other foot. And now maybe we're seeing some of ABC's true colors as well. But I just I was kind of scared that, oh well, if ABC if we didn't get this funding from the IFP, then ABC would go away and BU would just take over, and we can't trust them because like they would have handed the project over to Craig Wright. I mean, you still I think Andrew and Peter still are saying that we should have just did like a no fork to avoid the hash war, which basically would be capitulating to Craig, which I don't agree with. So I was kind of leery of that kind of leadership as well. So I'm glad we have BCH now because it's neither ABC nor BU. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
Gotcha. So I've had way too much money thrown at me to not ask. Why do you have a small PP?
What?
That's it. That's I had to ask. Anyways, moving on. So stupid. Yeah. I'm sorry. Okay, ABC lacks funding. BU doesn't. Why might that be?
Well, I think BU got a bunch of money early on from I don't know where, but they were fortunate to ride the bull market. So it was probably like some hundreds of thousands turned into millions. Mm-hmm. But as far as why ABC doesn't have money, probably they've done a bad job building goodwill and rapport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you talk about this in which one is it? You talk about rapport, and like, yeah, you can be the best engineer in the world, but if people don't, if you aren't nice to
Yeah,
people,
it's
people,
like yeah, it's like why does Omri go on social media and insult Roger and then be surprised when Roger's not giving him money? Seems like common sense to me, but I don't know. I guess not to Omri, right?
yeah. Oh my god. This is like it's funny. This typical not cash. It's people like, I mean, it's basically trolling, but they send me money for it, so I can't get mad at it. But so it's quite an interesting dynamic. Because like, God, this is annoying, but like, I'm getting money, so it's really annoying. So sorry for the viewers out there.
I think there's like, yeah, I don't, there's
I've been turning it down, but Jesus.
Yeah, there's also another interesting aspect of this whole thing, which is like a lot of people have made this point, which is like we need adoption users more than coders. I think infrastructure is important. Obviously, we want high quality node software and everything, but it's like if we did node development, like we'd probably be okay for a while. Maybe someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like we're not even filling like 1 megabyte blocks.
Right. Yeah,
we have so far to go. So it's not like this. Like infrastructure is important, but it's not this crisis that I think was kind of made out to be. Like, if we don't do this IFP, then the sky's gonna fall or something, right?
Yeah, and I mean, the counter to that is that one, they backport from core, and that takes time because code bases are diverging, and so and another one is totally lost my train of thought. Is that they have to maintain, so they have to keep doing bug fixes and all that. So they have to basically maintain the software, right, and make sure it doesn't deteriorate. And do you think that's like a legitimate of an argument?
Well, sure, it's legitimate, but it doesn't mean like it's not so important that we need to change the economic policy of the coin, especially like with contention against the community. So yeah, so some people argue about this too, like, oh well, is it really changing the economic policy? Like, just, and in my opinion, it is, because it's like even though you're not changing the supply, it's still the same amount of inflation and everything. It's still changing like who gets the money, and like now there's this whole new group called developers, which get some of that money, and then you have to decide like how they get that money. So it is kind of changing the policy, and so it's a big change. Like Bitcoin's never operated that way in 11 years. Mm-hmm. So are we going to change the way Bitcoin operates and ram it through? Is that worth? Is that a bigger deal than maintaining the software?
Yeah, I agree. Kind of going back a little bit. We're not filling megabyte blocks, and that's almost like the bottleneck is at the adoption level, which is kind of like a weird way to say it, because it was kind of like that on BTC for a while, I guess, until 2016, 17. And now we have all this runway, and it's like we're optimizing. Like, it's good to optimize, of course, but it's like we want it now, and it's like we don't really need to yet, right? And
well, but the other thing that with this whole thing is like, you always had Omri sort of complaining in a good way that, hey, like, no one does shit around here. ABC is the only ones that are doing things, and there was like a lot of truth to that. But it's like now we have Bitcoin Cash node, so maybe that's part of the solution, that you have people stepping up finally, and so maybe the IFP was like a necessary evil, like lighting a fire under someone's ass, and so maybe they'll do a lot of that scaling work on Bitcoin Cash node. That would kind of be what I would want to see, like both these implementations kind of working together. Maybe ABC can keep doing the backports, and Bitcoin Cash node can work on some of the scaling stuff and some of the other stuff on the roadmap.
Yeah, that'd be great to see node teams working together like that. That'd be Awesome. And so, what do you think about it being called a tax?
Well, it's just a label. It's just a word, right? I think it's it's as good a word as any. I mean, we know it's not really a quote unquote tax, but it's a redistribution of the Coinbase away from miners exclusively.
Mm.
So I don't think it matters that much whether you call it a tax or not. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. That kind of runs through my whole list of stuff. Anything else you want to talk about? Questions in the chat? Anything you want to ask me?
I don't know, man. I like your show.
Thank you.
It's yeah, had some interesting stuff over the last couple months.
Yeah, we were
Jim Friend and
Jim Friend was a trip.
So what's your story as far as how did you get into Bitcoin?
What's my story? So it was 2013. I remember I was freshman in college, sitting in my dorm room, just watching it go up. I saw it on Reddit. I think I originally got it for some of the things you get online that you can only buy with crypto. Then it went up, and then I was kind of like you. I followed the scaling debate, but like didn't really participate until like basically the split happened, and then I kind of just like went all in BCH basically like you did, and here we are. So yeah, I actually like did buy stuff with it, BTC, back in the day. So it was great, and that's really it. Like I still have some receipts I bought. I actually did buy like camera things online too, and with it, because when you have it, you want to spend it, because I mean it's money. Otherwise, if you have this money that's sitting in crypto and you need to buy, and you need USD to buy things, well, it's kind of like a shit money, right? And especially now that I'm that I earn BCH for doing videos sometimes, it's nice to be able to spend it places, because then you don't have to go through Coinbase and the trading fees and all that. So that's kind of my quick and dirty story, is that I just used to buy stuff with it 2013, and then kind of just watch the Reddit or Bitcoin war go down and didn't participate. I did a little bit, and then the split happened, and here we are. So
yeah, I mean, like Bitcoin Cash, I guess that's like one of the things that upsets me the most about the whole IFP drama, is that I don't want the fundamentals of Bitcoin Cash to change, because I think we have great fundamentals, and we have the ups and downs of the bull market and stuff. It's like, when the price is going down against like BTC, it's like we've always been able to say like, well, like, we don't care about that, because we're building this peer-to-peer cash thing, and we have all this great fundamentals. So I don't want to see that diminished.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, I think the majority of people in Bitcoin Cash are in it for the fundamentals, for the ideological reasons, if anything else, for peer-to-peer cash for the world. And if you kind of ruin that by guaranteeing a group of people money, kind of ruins the whole point. So yeah, I'm glad it seems like it's being taken down, the IFP, and hopefully ABC doesn't keep trying to push it, and hopefully this just leads to multiple node implementations, because I think ABC is very talented from what I understand as a non-dev. So yeah.
There's like I said, I don't really know what's going on in Omri's head right now, but there's a book he should probably read. It's called The Goose and the Golden Egg. It's a children's book.
Shots fired. Spicy. Yeah.
No, but seriously, it's like, why are we trying to, like, if the golden egg is the 5% or whatever, like, you can't kill the goose,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, maybe you can, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, maybe the goose will be tasty for a little bit, but then you have no eggs or goose after a week, after 6 months.
So yeah, I mean, Zhang Zhao was talking about a $20,000 Bitcoin Cash in the next like 3 years.
Yeah, that was interesting. He was like, "Yeah, we need to prepare for the upcoming bull market." I was like,
But hey, who's to say he's? I mean, he's. I think he has a track record of good predictions.
Thanks for the spice.
With forecasting and stuff. So yeah, who's to say? I mean, yeah, there'll be bulls and bears.
Yeah,
there'll be crazy pumps and crazy dumps. So,
gotcha. All right, I think we'll wrap it up here. Thank you everybody for watching. Unless we have some last questions in the chat. See if I can think of anything else.
I hope I called it like it is. I mean,
you were Jonald in it like it is. Jonald in like it
but
is.
I mean, living up to the show name, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I hope I called it like it is. Okay. Cool, man. Well, yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, and I look forward to seeing Cash Fusion become more and more developed, because I think that's just like a huge jump for the fundamentals of Bitcoin Cash. I mean, just turn on the fusion button and boom, you're basically private. So, yeah, can't wait. Can't wait to see what Cash Fusion is going to be going. So
it's going to be good.
Again, it'd be great. So again, all right, we'll wrap it up here. Thank you so much, Jonald. Thank you everybody for watching. So, bye bye.
See ya.